Today will be a tutorial for this particular photo shoot here. I'm Richard and welcome to Zappy Productions, and this is a photo shoot with Shinku. Follow her Facebook and Instagram down in my description below. She collaborated with me for this particular photo shoot, and the photos outcomes are really nice. I want to share you guys how I actually achieve it. Now, I'm inspired by this photographer called Chris Knight. I like his style photo, and as such, I'm trying to emulate his style photo, but with what I have and the space I have. So let's talk about how I actually produce this particular photo shoot photos itself. Now let me show you a behind the scenes and quickly talk about the equipment I use. So this is a shot. I shot it further behind and let you guys see there's a modifier on the top and a modifier on the left side of the frame. And then there's also one more light that's on the camera. So what are these lights? The top light is actually a beauty dish with grid. The grid is about 30 to 40 degrees. No, it was not labeled. I'm not really sure. It looks like a 30 degrees or 25 degree grid because it's quite directional already, very directional. And the beauty dish is a white beauty dish. Now, the light on there is an AD1200, but it's on 1/16 of a power. Not much power. You can easily replace with AD300s or AD600s easily because it's just 1/16 of the power itself. Now, for the other light to the left, that is almost full power or half power. That is an AD300 going through a spot projector. This is an aperture spot projector. And this gives you that slitted light on the subject itself. Now, for the fill light, because you notice there is no absolutely dark area other than the background. So how I achieve all this fill light to ensure that there is no totally black areas is I use a ring flash. And this ring flash you can see here is actually with a beauty dish modifier, and this is a R1200 ring flash itself that is connected with the AD1200. Now this ring flash here, there are alternatives, I'll talk about it later, but this ring flash is only at 132 of power or 164 power. It's very low power, just enough to fill the entire scene. Now there are other ways to fill light, but the ring flash is the most compact way to fill for a scene itself. Any other way requires you to deploy a relatively large soft modifier. If not, they will give you a directional shadow which you don't want. You don't want 2 or 3 different directions of shadows in the shot itself. So a ring flash really is one of the nicest modifiers if you are looking for very subtle feel, and ring flash can achieve it quite well. Now, in terms of the camera setting, I'm using a GFX100, and this is the ADMM f1.7, but I'm not shooting at 1.7, obviously. I'm shooting at f8 to f11, and the reason is because I want this very artwork type feeling, very studio shot feeling, and normally you achieve that with a lot of depth of field, because in artworks really you do see bokeh on the person's face. Both eyes are almost perfectly sharp. So I'm achieving the same effect by having it at f8 here, and you achieve both eyes sharp, and then you get a very distinct and crisp outline with all the lights itself. As you can see, the equipment so far are all relatively expensive. I mean, the spot projectors, the AD1200s, and the stuff itself. So let's talk about alternative ways to actually replace those equipments to actually get the same effect. Now, the beauty dish with the grid is something you should purchase. It's not very expensive. It's about 120 Sing dollars. I bought it from SLR Revolution. So if you buy it from Taobao, you probably can get it like $90 or something. This is a 55 cm dish, so it is very affordable. Now the light itself, you can use a AD300 because it's only at 132 power or 116 power with a AD1200. So you just divide it up. AD300 you just use at 1/4 power is more than enough. So you can actually use an AD300, which is very affordable of a light. You can even use an AD200 because you use at half power, you are still enough. Now for the spot projector, you can actually replace it with something I show here. It's from Taobao. Now this is actually a similar spot projector with a lens in front, and it costs like 200 Sing dollars. And then you use an AD300 to power through it. Now just a note, because I'm shooting at f8, AD300 is barely enough, half power to full power. So I don't think I can recommend you any cheaper modifier or flash for this particular effect here. If you want a slitted light and you're going to shoot at f8, AD300 is probably the lowest you can ever go. In fact, I want to slice, or should I say, in fact, I want to put an AD1200 into this spot projector here, but the AD1200 has a very big bulb and it doesn't go into this flash. Now, if you're using a Profoto 500 or something, you can go inside this easily, and I think it will be a lot better. Okay, and the last thing is, of course, the ring flash on the camera itself. The ring flash on the camera, now, there are alternative ring flash, if I'm not AD, AR400 by Godox. That is a ring flash, and it's also more than enough power because I'm using this at 132 power or 164 power for the ring flash. So, if you're using a 400 watt equivalent, you can use it at maybe 1/8 of a power or 1/4 of a power, and it's more than enough. So the thing is that if you don't use a ring flash, you can easily use any alternate flash with a relatively large modifier. As I said, I have very little space, but if you have the space, you can use a 1.5 meter umbrella with a cover, and then you get a very nice soft light. Or you can go for bigger soft boxes and stuff just to give this very nice soft feel on the subject itself without casting any significant shadows. So there are alternative ways to actually do field flash. You just need to set it at very, very low power. Now, what is the most essential thing in terms of camera setting, as I said, is the f8. Always remember that if you want to get something like this, you want to get a very nice distinct outline, very nice crisp look, f8 is what you need. You need f8 or f11. Make sure both eyes are sharp so that you actually get the feel itself. And the lenses must be beyond 50mm because if you're going 50mm or lower, there is some perspective distortion where the subject or items in front of you are slightly bigger than the things behind of you. So you can imagine a hand is larger than it should be, or a nose is larger than it should be, and that is perspective distortion because these things are closer to your camera. So use a slightly longer lens, like this is a 80mm, which is a 63mm equivalent, or maybe something like 85mm or 100mm can also do the same thing. Camera-wise, I'm not doing any extreme dynamic range here, so any modern full frame can do it. Really, any modern full frame can do it. So do not be like affected that I'm using a GFX100. No, I think a GFX100 is just a tool I have, and I'm going to print it also if I can. So, if you are using like A7 III, it's probably also okay. Now, I won't talk about post-processing and stuff because my model doesn't want me to show you her raw photos. So you can just imagine that the shot that comes out is very, very close to what you see now. Of course, there are some slight tweaking and curves, but if not, you can actually produce the same effect very, very easily. Once again, I want to thank Shinku for helping me. Do like and follow her Facebook and Instagram in my description below. And do like and subscribe my channel if you want to see more such tutorials in the future itself. I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.